Hello, everybody, and welcome to day one of Engineering Mastery Academy's training on creating visual method sheets. I'm not as unprepared as I was previously. I'm still trying to work out a few bugs, so hopefully everything goes good today. One thing that I want to mention up front is the worksheet that goes along with these sessions. I found a little issue with trying to get those posted. So something to keep in mind. If you're not failing, then you're not really pushing yourself. If you're going through and you never have any big challenges, you never challenge yourself to do something new, then you're probably never going to fail at anything. So I'm out here trying to fail. I'm out here trying to do something new every time, learn every time I do things, and I'm coming into these little failures which help me grow and help me do it better next time. So I'm Brian Wood, for those of you who don't know me. Today, I want to talk about what the structure is going to be for these sessions on visual work instructions, the goals, and how, basically I want to give a primer to the entire course so you know what to expect. Let me start with why I'm doing this. 22 years ago, I started a new job, was taken out to the manufacturing floor and told, you're going to spend your first week learning to build this core assembly of our product. Once you learn how to do this assembly, then we'll move you over and you'll learn to do final test. It was my first day as a manufacturing engineer. I said, okay, I can do that. I was out there for about 2 hours watching the operator do what she does. I'm standing there. I'm watching. Why did you do that? Why do you do things in this order instead of doing the other one first? Seems like it'd be easier. Oh, well, that's the way the method sheet's written. Oh, let me see the method sheet. A 4-inch wide, about 24-inch long thermal paper. I don't know how many of you remember thermal papers of this type, with instructions written along the thermal paper. Half of them faded away, and the other half were so sparse in what they said to do, it was impossible to know what the intent was. 5 minutes later, I'm standing in my boss's office holding up this thermal paper telling him, I can do what you ask, but this is your work instruction. You give me a month, I'll give you a new work instruction. At the end of the month, not only did he have a new work instruction, not only did I understand the product better than anybody else at the factory, other than the design engineer, not only not only did the operator now understand the process on a whole new level, but I could see that there's this tremendous weight that was lifted off her shoulders. She was lighter in the things she was doing. Everything didn't seem like an arduous task to her anymore. Now things flowed easily. And seeing the impact that that had on the operator, seeing how just giving clear instructions made such a huge impact and such a huge improvement in the quality of the work environment for that operator, it changed my life forever. Before even understanding the value of work instructions as a way to control the process, make sure it's always done the same way, as a way to improve or maintain the quality of the product, the first thing I noticed is how clear work instructions that are easily usable by the operator makes their life so much better. And as a manufacturing engineer, we really should be focusing on doing everything we can to make the lives of the operators on the floor better. It doesn't mean you're doing everything they want, but it does mean improving the quality and improving the manufacturing floor in ways that make the work environment better, especially in this day and age where it's always been tough in manufacturing to find good talent. Right now, things are shifting two ways. Now, some people, I'm not an economist, I don't claim to have any crystal ball. Lots of people are saying the economy is going down. But what's happening in parallel to that is this great, what do they call it? The great leaving of people from the workforce. I can't remember the term they used. It's been so hard to find talent. Well, now government subsidies to a lot of people, a lot of programs and savings that have been used so that people didn't have to work, they're running out and people are coming back to work. More than that, there are new opportunities opening up for the people who work where you do. You want to make sure that your work environment is keeping the people and attracting the new people that are coming back to the workforce. So why are method sheets in general so important? Method sheets are important for controlling the process, making sure everybody's doing the job the same way. You cannot control product quality if you're not building the process the same way every single time. If one operator prefers to use a longer screw and another operator uses a shorter screw, you think, length of a screw? Who cares? Use whatever fits. I've had $1 million production line go down because a screw was a few millimeters too long. It didn't interfere with anything, but there was a potential that it might interfere with a wire. And one day, out there in real life, it shut down an entire line because a wire got nicked across, moved against that screw. Let's just say it was a huge problem. It was a huge problem for us. It's a huge problem for the customer. So making sure that everything in your product uses all the same parts every time, is all put together the same way every time, is absolutely essential if you want to have long-term success with your manufacturing. The only way to do that is with method sheets. Actually, with methods. You might not have method sheets. You might be using an MES system which generates documentation for building. You might do it on drawings. There's different ways to document a process, but if you do not have clear documentation for that process, you are doomed to long-term failure. Now, why visual method sheets? In my opinion, visual, meaning pictures, and maybe short animated GIFs, is the only long-term way to make truly good, truly excellent documentation that the operators will go back to regularly. I've only worked 2 places that focused on visual method sheets. I've worked many places that have text documents with a few pictures added in. The first place I worked, the story I started with, they had all text documents. I went in there and I added pictures into the documents, which made them better. And I thought it was the greatest thing in the world, because every document I had created previous to that had always been all text. And seeing how much the pictures improved things, I saw was such a huge step up. Well, that was 20 years ago. I've learned a lot since then, and learned that you can tell a lot more in a document by using more pictures and less text. Instead of being 80% text and 20% pictures, it really should be 90% pictures and 10% text. You might think, well, you can't do that in a high... you might think that in a high-tech environment where you're working with really detailed specs and you've got all these little parts that need to work together, you can't really do that. Most of my career I've built lasers. Right now I'm building things that are built under a microscope. I've always worked in high tech. It works fine in high tech. It works great in high tech. High tech is who needs this more than anybody else. Do you still have to have some numbers in there for specs? Do you still have to have some text in there? Of course you do. but not nearly as much text as people think they need. Visual documentation also breaks down any type of language barriers. People might, especially where I'm at, I live in the San Francisco Bay Area. Around here you have people from all different cultures, all places around the world, and they all come with their own native languages. Pictures cut through all of that. Also for training, whether you're doing cross-training with your people or training new people, because of this no need to read, to look at pictures and understand what's going on, training times are cut dramatically. I wish I could share numbers with you. I don't have numbers in front of me, but I've seen for myself how much more quickly people get trained, and once they're trained, they're doing it the same way every time. There's no interpretation of do this, put part A into part B, if there's a picture showing exactly how to put part A into part B. If the words just say to do it, you might have 10 different people doing it 10 different ways. So anyway, I'm passionate about visual method sheets, in case you can't tell. It's been a focus of my career for a lot of my career. And initially just process, then documentation, then method sheets, and then visual method sheets. It all goes in stages. I'm going to try to jump you right up to the end of where that went, to visual method sheets. So the outline for this course, give me a moment. Let me pull this outline up. Today is all about just getting you started understanding why it's so important, why the course is so important to any manufacturing environment, to any manufacturing engineer. Day 2 is going to be about preparation. Let me actually pull up. I can't figure out how to post the worksheet, as I mentioned, but let me actually pull this worksheet up. I'll try to share my screen and share the worksheet with you, and let's go through this. Let me see if I can get this right. Let's see, can you hear me? Yes, you can still hear me. So, the course. Day 2 is going to be about how to set up the project so you're successful with creating your first or next method sheet. Then I'm going to get into project planning on day 3 and apply what we've learned in project planning plus some additional tips to take this idea you have in day 2 and turn it into reality. Then we're going to be getting into much more strategy. I'm sorry, the first 4 days are all about strategy. The strategy for a few tactics on actually implementing and getting planning done. I've got worksheets for that each day. But the day 4 is going to be strategy of team building. You're going to have hopefully at least one person, the person building the product, working with you. It might just be a team of 2 people. Small company, it probably will be a team of 2 people. Even in a larger company, you're going to be working with one person at a time. It's going to be you and one other person. If you actually have a team of manufacturing engineers going out to different parts of a process in parallel, working, you can apply what I'm going to be teaching you for each manufacturing engineer. I don't have anything in here for working together as a team. That's something hopefully you can all figure out on your own. Day 5, I'm going to get into the tactics. How do we actually go about taking pictures? What should be the perspective we use? What about the aspect ratio of the pictures? Lighting? Those types of things. I can't go into, obviously, all the details of taking a great picture. You can take a month-long course on taking a great picture. But I'll give you the highlighted details of what's important in a manufacturing document. Something to keep in mind that I'll probably forget to mention later is when you're taking pictures for a manufacturing document, it's not art. You get to be creative. You get to get your creative juices going and be creative in how you stage things, but it's not art. It should be done as a science, and it should be done in a way that conveys information to people, not looks pretty. In day 6, I'm going to get into the strategies and tactics of actually putting all the information that you've gathered from day 5. In day 6, I'm going to show you my preferred method for how to organize all this information coming in and structure it into method sheets. Now, because of the importance of structuring this information as it's coming in, I'm going to steal a little bit from day 6 and do it on day 5. So that if somebody's actually following this and they're spending the week between day 5 and day 6 gathering photos, they don't end up with just a mess of hundreds of photos on their camera and say, now what do I do? Right? So I'll give you a little bit of that up front on day 5. And it'll be helpful so that when we get to day 6, you'll have everything ready and it'll be able to just throw photos in and go quickly. So that's the plan for this course. If you have any questions, as always, hit me up or post them below. Best thing always is to post below so that everybody sees your question. I'm sure other people have the same question. For now, I'm going to cut off the training for today. I'm going to look over here and see if there's anybody online. We have one viewer online. I'm not seeing any comments. And I'm still getting new to this live thing, so I don't know how to see who's viewing me right now. Whoever it is, welcome. I'm glad you made it here live. If you're in the Manufacturing Engineering Mastery, let me say this slower again, Manufacturing Engineering Mastery Facebook group, the worksheet is already posted in there. I'm going to have to modify either this group, actually probably this group and that group, sorry, and this page. I have to modify both so I can actually put files up and not just photos or videos. So I'll look at it to do that, and I'll do that right after this, and hopefully I'll be able to get the worksheet up in a normal way on this page. If not, then I'll simply post it. Actually, last time I tried, I couldn't even post it as a posting here. So anybody who's not in the group, the Manufacturing Engineering Mastery group, which is linked on this page, on the Engineering Mastery Academy page, if you're not in that group, you can DM me, and I will directly send you the worksheet. If not, then I'll try to get this page updated and try to post it in there. Until next time, hope everybody has a great week, and I'll see you next week.